Welcome into Orange and Blue today. It is Wednesday edition. Back out there at practice, back out there with a new addition in Mercedes Lewis. Drake Greenlaw going to be back out there. Bo Nix talking about the Blitz. Mace, we got a busy show.
Yeah. Mercedes Lewis out there, number 89. You know, when he gets in there for the Broncos, when he gets on the field, he's going to be the oldest Bronco ever.
And
older than Peyton Manning,
I believe, right?
Oldest tight end in NFL history, oldest player in Broncos history.
Wow.
Yeah.
And away we go on a Wednesday edition. Now, Mercedes on the practice squad, Mace. We'll see if he gets active. Of course, a couple injuries at the tight end position, including Nate Atkins and Lucas Kroll.
I mean, he kind of has to be active, right? I mean,
right.
I mean, unless you're going to. Otherwise, you're playing Caleb Lohner, or Thomas Murtaugh. I mean, otherwise, you're playing somebody who's never played before, basically.
Right.
So, I would say almost certainly you're going to play Mercedes Lewis in this game. You're getting him ready to go. If they felt like Caleb Lohner could be ready, I mean, why would you sign Mercedes Lewis, right? I mean, so I think they're gonna play Mercedes Lewis. The fact that Mercedes Lewis talked in the locker room or just outside the locker room during the open locker room period, I think probably said a lot as well about the intent for him on Sunday in terms of him getting in there and playing. So
yeah. And a big-time blocker, Mace. When he came out of UCLA 20 years ago, he was a fantastic receiver. And you and I talked about it in the locker room today, like he molded his game to become a great blocker and then to be one of those players that he can do it all.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, we'll get into it later on with Mercedes Lewis. I mean, the interesting thing about him, he talked about this. Actually, you know what? Let's just go ahead and play this because I asked him specifically about becoming a blocker because he was a dynamic pass catcher at one point in his career, but those days are long in the past. I mean, he is basically solely a blocking tight end now. But being a blocking tight end is what's allowed him to stick in the league. And so I asked him kind of about that, like sort of, okay, at what point did you really kind of become more of a blocking tight end? And he actually traced the origin point of it all the way back to when he was at UCLA. John Embry, someone that a lot of y'all know, of course, the former CU head coach, who's also been an NFL assistant as a tight ends coach, was his position coach at UCLA. And this is the origin point of him as a blocker, is going back to when Embry was his college coach. And this leads to a really interesting story where he talks about when he first got to Jaguars camp. And it offers some perspective on just how long Mercedes Lewis has been in the league. So here's Mercedes Lewis answering my question about him as a blocking tight end.
I'll tell you a quick little story. So John Embry, he coaches tight ends with Miami. He coached Tony Gonzalez, Daniel Graham, Kittle for a bit when he was in San Francisco. He's like my step pops. He coached me at UCLA, and he still watches my film and everything now. And when I got to UCLA, I was more of a raw athlete doing all this stuff in the pass game and hadn't really sunk my teeth into the run game yet as a sophomore in college. And he pulled me aside and was like, hey, there's a lot of people that can catch the ball and run and do all of that. You want to play for a long time, you need to learn how to get your nose dirty. He was like, you want to be the best? It's about being an all-around tight end. He was like, you want to play for a while? When you slow down, you'll still be able to block because your technique is really good. And fast forward, I get to Jacksonville, my rookie year there. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Oklahoma drill.
Oh, yeah.
So that was my first NFL Oklahoma drill, and it was Fred Taylor behind me and Maurice Jones-Drew. And, I went up, I had 3 reps, pancaked the first 2 guys, moved the 3rd guy out the way. Freddie T runs up to me, jumps on my neck, and he used to call me Slim because I was always this height, but I didn't have the mass that I do. And he was like, hey, Slim, You keep blocking like that, you're going to be playing for a long time. He texted me this morning. He was like, man, you my hero, bro. I can't believe you're doing this. And I'm like, you remember the conversation that we had? That meant a lot to me, and that's something that I carry every day. And, yeah, that's what it's about.
I mean, that's a cool story, but it also tells you how long he's been in the league. He's referencing Fred Taylor. Mm-hmm. Fred Taylor turns 50 in January. Fred Taylor, he's, been around a while. Also, the fact that Mercedes Lewis has been in the league so long that during his first training camp, he did the Oklahoma drill.
Right.
Nobody in the NFL does the Oklahoma drill anymore. In fact, even by 2006, very few teams were doing the Oklahoma drill. Like, it was becoming rare. Like, the Broncos didn't do the Oklahoma drill. Mike Shanahan wasn't doing the Oklahoma drill. Only a few teams in 2006 were doing it. The Jaguars did. The Bengals were one of the very last teams that did it. I think it was in 2009 Hard Knocks that people saw them doing the Oklahoma drill, and it was like it was rarity even then. So, like, just hearing him say that, it's a reminder, my goodness gracious, Mercedes Lewis has been in the league a long time. If he's talking about my first training camp, I did the Oklahoma drill. But that's actually it's really cool, though, to talk about how, like, Fred Taylor, a teammate of his 20 seasons ago, texts him about being back in the NFL. I mean, it's wild. Mercedes Lewis, age 41, in his 20th season. A tight end in his 20th season in the NFL. I mean, this is just crazy. But if you block, you're going to keep getting shots, keep staying around the league. He mentioned at another point in the press conference that he basically said he hasn't had a major surgery in his career. Just wild. Like, this is another thing. The guy was a blocking tight end, and he hasn't had a major surgery, major injury. I thought, boy, I mean, you talk about, just rolling the dice here, but it also explains how he's able to still play at age 41.
Right.
And crazy. I mean, it's a cool story. Now, it's not cool that the Broncos got to the point of having to add him because, of course, it's Lucas Kroll undergoing surgery and being out for longer. It's Nate Adkins with the knee injury. By the way, just to let everyone know, Nate Adkins, Marvin Mims Jr., Pat Surtain, all three of them didn't practice today. Not a surprise that all of them didn't practice. But Pat Surtain rehabbing on the side field. Marvin Mims Jr. in the concussion protocol, rehabbing on the side field. Didn't see Nate Adkins. Nate Adkins, his injury appears to be the most serious of the three. There's a chance that Pat Surtain may not even land on injured reserve. That's something that we'll get more clarity on probably by Saturday as we get into the weekend there to see just what the long-term status is on PS2. But looking at Adkins being out a while, looking at Lucas Kroll being out a while, an absolute necessity for Mercedes Lewis being on the roster, just needing somebody. Broncos took 2 swings and misses on waiver claim pickups on Monday into Tuesday, lost out because they have a low priority claim, because at this point now in the season, the waiver priority claim is based on where your record is and where you are in the draft order. Going forward, where would the Broncos draft?
Well, and there's a couple of corners that the Broncos actually got out-waivered on recently, like this week.
Yeah, the Broncos, by the way, they would draft 28th if the draft were if it were based on the order today. So that's where they are in the waiver claim priority. They're 28th. So they tried to claim a couple of tight ends, they couldn't do it. Like you said, they tried to claim corners. So that's where they are. There are 27 teams ahead of them on the waiver claim priority. So not a good spot. You're happy for the reasons to be at that low waiver claim spot, but it means that your chances of getting a guy that you want, if other teams are in the mix, are pretty slim.
Yeah, we're going to get to Bo Nix in just a little bit, but this is something Bo did talk about And maybe for Saturday's show, we'll have the Bo comment. But his locker's right next to Bo. Is that intentional? I mean, I know the locker's open. There's a few open lockers, but a veteran next to Bo.
I don't think. I think it's where it is. I think where it is. I'm not sure it's that intentional. I just don't think there are many spots.
Makes me sad because we remember who was next to Bo. Blake Watson.
Yeah.
He was next to Bo.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Too bad.
Yep.
You know, Blake Watson's with the Titans now.
He's on Tennessee. Yep. And Tony Pollard might get traded to Kansas City, so maybe he'll get a shot behind Tyjae Spears, who we also like as well.
Yeah. Blake Watson with the Titans, and old friend Audric Estime, of course, recently landed with the Saints.
There you go. Yeah, connections all over the place for this team. It is orange and blue today. Cecil, Lammey, Andrew Mason. We got to get into this Bo Nix conversation, and it's something that we'll talk about more on Saturday's pregame show because of what the Texans don't do. But before we talk about this Bo Nix topic, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
Today's episode of Orange and Blue Today is presented by Ramos Law, the official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Ramos Law was founded by Dr. Joseph Ramos, an attorney and ER doctor, to provide exceptional care to those injured in accidents. With a unique understanding of both medicine and law, the Ramos Law team is built to fight for you every step of the way. Experience the Ramos Law difference. Contact them today at ramoslaw.com.
All right, Mace, we'll jump into it, and thanks to Sumer Sports for this data and information. And it's a conversation about Bo Nix against the Blitz this season. And I talked to Bo today, and again, we'll play the video clip probably on Saturday's show. I said, Bo, you're really outstanding against the Blitz, so what's that from? And I'll give you some of the numbers from Sumer Sports. 61.4% completion. 382 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks taken. Very impressive against the Blitz. So what is it all about? And Bo's answer was awesome because he didn't talk about himself and like being ahead of the play. He talked about the ability of all of his receivers to make plays for him. So then I asked Bo again, this has to be about trust then, right? Even for the young guys. And he said, yes. He trusts these guys to go out there and be where they're supposed to be. And that's one of the reasons why Bo Nix is so good when the pressure is the highest. I
mean, you trust the guy. That means you trust the guys. It means you throw it up and you know that they're going to be there. That's the whole thing. That's what makes it go. I mean, and the thing is also the best quarterbacks are also the ones that are the best. They succeed against the Blitz. I mean, I'm looking at like the Pro Football Focus raw data against the Blitz, and you know they've got Bo Nix with a 106.6 passer rating against the Blitz. And just to kind of go through the top quarterbacks against the Blitz among eligible quarterbacks, I mean, the guys who are north of a 105 rating against the Blitz among eligible quarterbacks: Jared Goff, Drake May, Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford, Jordan Love, Daniel Jones, Caleb Williams, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Fields. There's a surprise. Josh Allen, Bo Nix, Justin Herbert. I mean, so aside from Justin Fields, look at the company he's keeping there, right? I mean, Daniel Jones is the one that makes you say, oh, okay, he isn't normally there, but Daniel Jones this year is a very good quarterback. Like 2025 Daniel Jones is one of the best quarterbacks in football. Forget about what he was in the past. Daniel Jones with the Colts, with those targets, is one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. And it's funny you mentioned the trust because it's probably some of the same stuff working for Daniel Jones. It's working for Bo Nix, trusting the targets that he's got there. When he's blitzed, he knows that Alec Pierce, Michael Pittman, they're going to be there for him, just like Bo knows his guys are going to be there for him too.
Yeah, I love that. And I talked about it yesterday because nobody's Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor is like that sort of elite level, Mace. And I said it on the radio yesterday of like, okay, J.K. Dobbins is behind Jonathan Taylor. But don't get it twisted. If Taylor's the number one, here would be Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
JK is in that top 7, top 10 if you're pessimistic, just in terms of his natural talent. So look at Jones and look at Bo. Both of them can take off to run. Both of them are good against the blitz, and both of them have the support of quality running backs. Taylor being, MVP level this year, and J.K. Dobbins being Pro Bowl level on a pace for 1,300 yards.
I mean, really, the only thing. I mean, if you go in the AFC right now, I mean, wouldn't you say the top 3 backs are Taylor, James Cook, and J.K. Dobbins right now?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Right now.
So those are those would probably be your Pro Bowl backs, would they not?
Yes.
Okay. There you go.
Is that everything you wanted when you signed JK? Of wow, he's doing even more than you thought he would do. Even in the locker room, leadership, all that kind of stuff. Well,
I mean, when he's healthy, he's effective. I mean, all right. Let's just look at his. We'll take one stat here. We could dive deep into numbers, but let's just do something simple here. Okay.
Okay.
We'll just do yards per attempt. He's had 4 seasons so far, including this season, when he's had at least 100 rushing attempts, right? He's had 120 rushing attempts this season. So these are his per carry averages when he's had at least 100 attempts. 5.8, 5.5, 4.6, 5.3. The 5.3 is this year.
Wow.
Okay? When he's healthy and he's getting chances, he's an exceptional running back. It's never been a question for J.K. Dobbins of whether he's good enough. It's always been a question of whether he can be healthy enough. That's it. It's not and never has been about whether J.K. Dobbins is a good enough running back. It's always been whether he can stay healthy. That's the only thing. By the way, now sort of a good thing here, but now that he's played 8 games here, now at least we're starting to talk about him getting on the happy side of being able to say, okay, he's played as many 2 more games than he's missed in his career.
Good.
Hopefully, knock on whatever surface you can find for his sake, that he can stay healthy and continue to be on the right side of that lecture. It'd be nice to see that change for him. Certainly, on a human level, he deserves it.
Yeah, and a great guy. And remember when we were at the Combine, both Travion Henderson and Quinshad Judkins talked about him, about just what he meant to the Buckeyes. He's a 2,000-yard rusher, man. So super talented. Just got to get him healthy. And Sean, I'd like to ask Sean for a little bit more, not 15 carries, but maybe 17 touches, right? 14 carries, 3 catches, something like that. I'd like to, as much JK as we possibly can get. They seem like they have their workload set for him. He's going to get about 15 touches.
Well, I mean, you don't want to push it. He's only hit 20. He's only hit 20 once this year, right?
Yes.
Against Philadelphia, when he had 20 carries in that game, 20 for 79. So I do get the whole thing if you want to keep him on a pitch count, because you do want to play the long game. You want to play the long game, and you want him to be effective. And when you see RJ Harvey improving, that I think allows you hopefully to ease off the throttle on J.K. Dobbins a little bit as well, and hopefully have him give you a little bit more in the stretch run. It's an interesting juncture here, Cease, because you are talking about having 2 games in a very short span of time here, because you've got the quick turnaround to Thursday Night Football next week against the Raiders. So if there's maybe this is not the game to be talking about the heavier workload, but I get what you're saying. Maybe the game to talk about a heavier workload perhaps is against Kansas City in week 11, when you've got the mini bye before and the bye week after. So I like what you're saying, Cease. I just don't know if I like it at this moment. I like it maybe on November the 16th better than November the 2nd or November the 6th.
Yeah. And I like it, Mace, because the idea of like letting JK and RJ kind of lead the way, as much balance as you can. Sean's always going to pass a little bit more, but like that's playoff football. So right now they're sharpening their sword by playing the style that works best when it comes to the playoffs. Run the ball, play great defense.
Yeah, and the defense is about to get a little bit more of a test, of course, now with Pat Surtain out, but it's an opportunity here. This is another thing. You got a chance to hopefully, you talk about sharpening a little bit, get everyone a bit sharper, especially on the back end in coverage. Get everyone a bit sharper heading into the stretch run. Having to play without Pat Surtain, it does maybe hurt you this month, but it has a chance to make you a better team as you get into December and January. There's a little bit of an opportunity there for Riley Moss, for Jaquan McMillan, for Chris Abrams-Drain, for Jahdae Barron to kind of sharpen themselves, get some more opportunities, and, yeah, function without number 2 there to take the pressure off of them. Everyone's going to have to grow up a little bit, and that's probably not the worst thing that could happen for the entire secondary here, for what you want this team to be by the time it really gets down to when it matters in December and January. So you don't like seeing an injury, but I think there's a chance for the Broncos as a whole to turn it into a positive.
Yeah, I can turn it into a positive, and I just wrote about this a little bit ago. Limited for Christian Kirk and limited for Nico Collins. So 2 of their best receivers may be back. Christian dealing with a hamstring injury, Nico Collins dealing with a concussion. So we'll see.
Did I see Dalton Schultz DMP?
Yes, Dalton Schultz DMP, and just because I have to say it, I'm contractually obligated. They signed my man Dalton Keene, who played football with my son at Chatfield.
Of course you have to mention that.
He lives right down the road.
No, he's also, not only is Dalton Keene a local guy, he also went to Virginia Tech.
Very much so, yes.
So, like, it's
perfect.
It's 2 birds with 1 stone right there. I mean, get the Colorado and you get the Commonwealth of Virginia there. It's all good.
Yeah, his dad played for Frank Beamer at Beamer's stop before Virginia Tech, which I can't remember. I believe it's a smaller school.
Eastern Kentucky.
I believe so, yes. Yep. So,
no, not Eastern Kentucky. Murray State. Murray State.
Yeah,
okay. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was. Sorry, I'm like, I knew it was. I came out of my mouth. I'm like, no, it wasn't Eastern Kentucky. It was Murray State. I knew it was like, but yeah.
Yeah, so we got some Texans trivia for you, but yeah, we got to see what that injury report is like, because both Kirk and Nico had been missing time, and they had gone to Jaden Higgins, who we saw at the Senior Bowl, with Jalen Knoll, who we saw at the Senior Bowl.
By the way, Frank Beamer actually, when the Broncos were out in, did you notice this? Of course, when the Broncos were out in West Virginia, that Beamer was watching Broncos practice last year. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
That he drove up from Blacksburg to go check him out.
They had a seat for him, correct?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, I believe I got to ask Coach Payton about that too.
Yeah, because Frank's he's 79 now, so he maybe doesn't want to stand and watch an entire practice, which is understandable. But that was really cool to see out there last year. I got a feeling the Broncos may be going back to West Virginia next year too. Like, not to look too far over the horizon, but I think. Sorry, fellas, there may be another trip to the Greenbrier in your future.
As long as they end up in Santa Clara after this year, we're down. Yeah, we're down. Yeah, but interesting to note, we're going to get more into the game plan on Saturday, but the blitz thing, I wanted to get ahead of it, Mace, because Houston doesn't blitz.
Yes, which is why it's interesting to talk about.
Yep.
Because Houston generates pressure without blitzing.
Yep.
That's the key thing here. And that's part of why they are so effective. Hey, this is 2 terrific defenses. The Broncos have proven they can win all types of games. That was something I asked Nick Benito about today in the locker room. It's something that we'll talk about as we get deeper into the week here. That on this 5-game winning streak, they've shown they can win an absolute crazy comeback type of game, like against the Giants. They can win a game that, even though the Cowboys didn't quite have everything, it was definitely a shootout type of pace game against the Cowboys. And then they've proven they can win a game like the one against the Jets that basically is a crawl, right? So the Broncos are winning games all sorts of ways here. This is, this is a very good sign. This game will probably look a little bit more like the Eagles or Jets game than the last two, but it's not a bad thing because the Broncos, they've proven that they don't have to play a specific style of football to win, that they can win any number of ways. It's credit to the type of team that's been built around here.
Yes, very much so. It is orange and blue today, and we've got some more to talk about later this week. But we certainly want to thank everyone out there for helping us out on our YouTube channel, making Denver sports grow and grow and grow. I think we're about to 22,000 subscribers. So
nice.
Thanks all very much for that. Orange and blue today leading the way. Mason, I dig all y'all's support, the love that we get on social networking. We certainly appreciate that as well. We just want to talk about the Broncos, man. We want to bring you the best Broncos show on YouTube and these interwebs. And that's why we need y'all's help. Mace, how can folks help us out here on YouTube?
Like,
comment,
share,
subscribe,
hit that notification bell
so that you
never miss
vid. That's right. He is Andrew Mason. You follow him on all the socials at Mace Denver. I'm at Cecil Lammey saying OBT's a BFD. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, and would you please stay frosty,